Good evening, everyone. I have read your leadership survey papers and have provided feedback to you in the associated rubric. One thing I want to remind you is that last semester, how your feedback looked in an inline grading format looks a little bit different this spring. The inline grading tool, which we called Crocodoc, was sundowned or deemed to be too old to maintain, and it's been replaced by BoxView. You a couple of weeks ago, I think, were sending information on how to get information that your faculty member provided as feedback. Just as a reminder, when you open your feedback, you're going to go in and you're looking for highlights or little post-it notes. They look on my side; they look like little blue squares. You're going to hover or click on those to get the feedback. I'm going to encourage you to start at the very top where your running head is on your title page and work your way through the document. I think faculty are making the transition just like you are to make sure that this new format of giving you feedback is that we're not missing things. I think the post-it notes, the little blue dots, I think for me make me a little nervous because I'm not entirely, I think they're a little easy to miss. So take the time to look through your feedback and read the feedback that's been provided. It is so important as you move through this program that you take the feedback developmentally for APA or grammar or content or structure of your writing. All of that needs to be processed and then put a action in place to make improvements for your second assignment, your third assignment. We realize that the art of using APA right now, if you're early in the program, this feels tedious, and you're like, okay, let me just tell you what I want to tell you. Don't make me use this whole APA thing. It is important for you to know that the APA manual is not going away. As you move into higher level courses, the rigor around APA and writing is going to increase. There's a conversation afoot right now to make writing and formatting in APA 30% of every grade. So you may want to just kind of have that on your radar. Proper writing at a graduate level takes practice, and it's intentional practice. If this is not something that you enjoy, if it feels really daunting for you, or if it's just frustrating, know that you are in good company. Lots and lots of people struggle with this. I was not a fan of APA, but I have been using it for so long that it has just kind of become second nature. No one, if you're writing professionally, you're going to get very good with APA or MLA, those two formatting styles. But in your professional practice, if you're sitting in your office and you're typing a professional email, you're not going to be using APA formatting. What I do want to caution you about is that APA is more than using headings and developing a reference list. APA formatting, the book is designed to improve and polish your writing skills. So it's not just about how to line everything up and measure your margins. It is about crafting well-developed sentences and paragraphs and clarity of ideas. So when we say that there are APA issues, know that that encompasses formatting as well as sometimes grammar and sentence structure and word paper development. So it's not just about, whether your headers are lined up. A brief note just about the assignment itself. I always get tickled when I read this because so often, the first or second paragraph says, well, I'm not surprised what I found. And I'm not surprised that you're not surprised about what you found either, because most of the time we look through the options and we think, okay, well, I'm pretty self-aware, so I'm pretty sure this is the way it's going to look. And we often answer questions to get the result that we think we're going to get. So it's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. So the intent wasn't to do reverse engineering or reverse scoring kinds of questions and tangle you up and see if we really figured it out for you. The purpose of this assignment was for you to really think about the fact that there are 3 different leadership styles and that all 3 leadership styles have absolute value. You're going to tend to one type of leadership style versus another. What's important to know is what's your thing? What's your go-to? What are you good at? And then begin to think about developing skills in the other 2 areas so that when it is appropriate, you have the skill set and the wherewithal to know that you need to make those adjustments so that you can apply them to the leadership style that you're really good at. Your classmate Audra did a wonderful job wrapping up her paper and kind of putting the final touches on the concept of the importance of all 3 of these these leadership styles. Audra wrote in her paper that leadership, the process by which employees are encouraged and committed to participate, is paramount to an organization's achievement of established goals and and quintessential to corporate vision. Three leadership styles trifurcate within the behavioral approach: autocratic or authoritarian, democrat or participative, and free reign or legislate or delegative. Each of these styles are clearly delineated from one another while having distinct features applicable for use within specific situations inside the clinical setting. Participative leadership is a delicate balance between the autocratic and free reign, as it is to create a participatory style evoking a democratic approach to the clinical environment. That was a mouthful. You can tell I've had a long day. Audra wrote much more eloquently than I was able to read it. The idea between what Audra introduced was that they all have their place in how we lead. There are very clear defined times that we need to be autocratic when we look at safety or policy violations that harm others. Those are real defined times. There are times that laissez-faire works fairly well. If you want to have a committee go in and look at the color of scrubs and have them pick the color that they feel like as a team is going to be best and make a recommendation, that laissez-faire handoff approach. And then most of the time we tend towards, many of us drift towards the participative or democratic style of leadership. Whatever your thing was, the encouragement from this assignment is that you're able to think about, yay, your thing works for you, but then be able to step back and really think about, okay, that works, but how do I develop the other two areas so that I'm well-rounded in my leadership approach? So be sure you're doing that. Briefly want to just mention a few APA things. First, this is the APA manual. It is my sincere hope that this book does not look foreign to you. If you have chosen not to purchase it yet, my encouragement is to go on to Amazon.com or eBay or wherever you get your secondhand books and get the APA manual. It is incredibly valuable in developing your writing skills. So, APA manual. Just some highlights, some common things I saw. In the graduate level writing, you should not be turning in any paper that does not use level headings, at least one, most of the time two, and as you write longer papers between 5 and 7 pages, you're going to add level 3. Level headings of the graduate writing are expected. They help organize your writing. They help you organize your thinking. I want you to begin to think about, how does my paper look with effective use of level headings? That was kind of a common theme that I saw. The other thing I want to remind you is that at the graduate level, you should be avoiding direct quotes. As often as possible, you want to synthesize what you have read from whatever article or textbook that you've read, be able to put that into your own words, put it in context of what you're writing about, and give it meaning, and then do an in-text citation afterwards. There are some times that a direct quote, you just can't say it any better, and it's profound the way it is. That's a zebra, not a horse. The vast majority of what you're going to be putting in a paper is going to be synthesized words and concepts from authors with an in-text citation. If you are going to do a direct quote, which you should make sure it is a zebra, not a horse, and it is 40 words or more, they need to be in block quotes. And again, this needs to be a rare thing, that there's just no better way to say it. So be mindful of that. The other thing that is on my list, let's see. When you are crediting an author with their ideas, you want to make sure that you are using the in-text citation at the end of the sentence, that you are not starting a sentence with Porter, O'Grady, and Malik said that participative leadership is the best leadership style, parentheses, Porter and Malik 2016, close parentheses. You've said that, you've given their name twice in the same sentence. It is okay to start your sentence with Porter, O'Grady, and Malik, parentheses 2016, believe that participative leadership is the best, period. But you don't want to do it twice, Okay. You also don't want to put in the titles of the names of the articles that you read or the textbooks that you've read in the body of your paper. That's the reason you have a reference list. There are times that you may do that if you're doing an integrative literature review, but you're not going to be doing that, if at all, in this program. So just be mindful. Put the author's name in text citation, or you can mention it with a proper format in the body of the sentence. Just don't do both. Oh, the title page. Make sure that your title page, if you have comments, make sure your title page is pretty clear. You need to have the page number, the running head, the paper title, your name, and Liberty University. Nothing else goes on there. That's APA. I'm going to encourage you to begin to think about to being more descriptive in the titling of your paper. I suspect you may have been told in earlier courses, I want you, whatever the name of the assignment is the name of your paper. Well, that may work if you're in an undergraduate program and they don't want to lose track of everything in the computer system. But when we are writing for professional audiences, your topic of your paper is going to be the thing that hooks your reader. I want you to get into the habit of using the title of the paper to hook your reader. If you have an organizational system that you want to remember, hey, this was reflective exercise, that's fine. But then it becomes reflective exercise number 1, leadership surveys. Be creative, have fun with it, do whatever, but please begin to think about your own ownership of an assignment. The other thing to remind you is the running head, the thing that goes up in the top left corner. That is how professional papers are archived and referenced in data searches. So that tag, that abbreviated part of your paper title needs to be meaningful. So reflective exercise 1, leadership surveys, is probably not going to be great if you use the running head reflective exercise 1. That doesn't tell anybody anything. But if you use leadership surveys, that's exactly what you've written about in your paper, so you can put that in as your running head. And folks, I know that you're just getting your feet under yourself and that you are beginning to polish your writing. It is the purpose of giving you this feedback is to make sure that you understand that we want you to have the content, we want you to have clarity in the ideas and the concepts of these courses, but the ability to clearly write your ideas, express your ideas cogently and professionally is as important. Think about a well-crafted email that you're going to send to your team or your partners within your department. If you open up your email and you start the email with, yo dog, what's up, comma, and then your entire body of your email is a train wreck with all of this jargon and grammatical mistakes and syntax errors, no one's going to take it seriously. So the discipline of writing professionally it is something that we want for you. And everybody's on their own continuum. Some people are already there and you're rocking it out and we don't have issues. Some people are in the beginning part of writing, and it's been a while since you've had to write in a professional context. That's okay. Now's the time to sort all of this out and polish those skills. So that is the purpose of this feedback, is to let you know, 1, you're not the only one, and 2, to let you know that it is a consistent expectation, and that as you move through the program, that these skills need to be growing. So I hope that is helpful. Last thing I want to mention is your discussion board for next week. Folks, please don't treat your discussion board like a paper. I want you to be thorough. I want you to follow the instructions that are provided. The minimum body of your first post is 500 words. You don't want to be less than 500, but you also don't want to be 1,500. Answer the questions clearly, succinctly, and thoroughly, and move on. The idea in a discussion board is to generate dialogue between your peers. So stay dialed in. It's okay for you to reply to people that post something on your post. You don't have to, but it's a way to be engaged. What's important is that you're timely, that the Thursday, Sunday deadline we're serious about, and that you are that you're thoughtful about it. So make sure you're following the guidelines that are provided for you, and that you're timely in your response, that you don't treat it like a paper. The only thing from an APA standpoint is references. If you have you should have a reference. If you're using a reference, make sure your reference format is properly formatted, and if you use it within the body of your paper, use proper in-text citations. Outside of that, the level headings, all the indenting and formatting, all that, none of that matters. Line spacing doesn't matter. properly referencing and putting in the citation where it goes. Those are the big things. Okay, I think that's it. I hope you guys are off to a good week. I realize it's midweek. If you have questions or concerns, please know that I'm here. I know you're in the virtual world and sometimes that feels like you're out all by yourself, but please know that you're not. Your Ask the Professor link is the Ask the Professor link is for general who, what, when, where, how kinds of questions. Please use that as the first go-to place unless you have a personal need. And then by all means, email me. I'm happy to chat with you over the phone. I am on Liberty Campus Wednesday, so if you're a local folk, I'm happy to meet with you. Okay, be in touch. I look forward to seeing your work next week and look forward to answering any questions you have. Take care.